Greetings, my dear children. This video contains the explanation to the chapter The Enemy written by Pearl S. Buck, and it is chapter number 4 from the book Vistas. This chapter has been written during the time of the World War, and in this chapter, there's an American prisoner of war who is washed ashore in a very desperate, dying state and is found at the doorstep of a Japanese doctor. Now, because it's a world war, and as a rule, and as a true patriot, a Japanese doctor need not to take care of him, tend him. But because he's a doctor, and the doctors do take a pledge to save every human who is wounded. So now there is going to occur a dilemma in the heart of the doctor that should he save the prisoner of war, or as a patriot, he need to inform it to the army. Let's discover while reading the chapter. The chapter, page 24, contains the description of Dr. Sadao Hoki's house. Now, Dr. Sadao Hoki's house was built on the Japanese coast, where as a little boy he had played along with his father. Now, this beach where he was having his house was outlined with bent pines, and as a boy he had learned how to climb these pines because he had seen many of the fishermen or the people climbing the coconut trees for coconut. And along with his father, he had played on this place and often had seen that there used to be islands near those seas and all that, and he had always asked his father that what are those islands, and the father always responded saying that those islands which yonder there, like which are over there, they are kind of in stepping stones to the future of Japan. Now the next question was, like, from here where is Japan going to go, where are we going to step from here? And father said, who knows about the future of anybody, and nobody can limit the future. It depends upon the human beings how they make the future. And this very sentence had a very deep meaning in the life of Sadao's father, and that's why he was very much serious about Sadao's study. So that's why he had sent his son to America at the age of 22 so that he can study all about surgery and medicine. Now, when he came back from America, he was around 30 years. The father was very serious about his studies, and that's why he never joked and played with him also. And when that fellow had returned back, Dr. Sadao had returned back, father had seen, before father died, he had seen his son turning out to be a surgeon as well as a scientist. Now, why scientist? Because he was perfecting a discovery that how could the wounds be made completely germ-free, entirely clean. Now, he was also operating upon general. Now, the general of Japan was undergoing treatment by Dr. Sadao, and so now the troops which was to send out of Japan did not have Sadao as a member because of two reasons. One, because he was perfecting a discovery. Second reason, because he was operating upon the general. So the general could not take the risk of sending him out of Japan, because in case he would require the immediate help from this doctor, who would come then? He did not have faith on any other of the doctors. Now, this was all what we had about the past. Now we are coming to the present. Dr. Sadao is standing at his home on the terrace and is looking towards the coastal area, and is able to see the cold waves from that area, and is just thinking the moment the mist that is coming out of that water, he would and would envelop the entire house. He would get back to his wife, who is in the room waiting for him along with his two children. He was just thinking about this, that in the meantime the door opened and his wife, who was in dark blue woolen haori. Haori is a kind of a loose outer garment that is generally worn by the Japanese people over the kimono. So she was wearing that upon her kimono, and she came and affectionately stood by Dr. Sadao. Now, again, Dr. Sadao went to the background, that how did and when did he meet Henna? He met Henna in America only, and that too literally by luck. That by chance, Sadao was in the American professor's house, Professor Hale's house, and he saw a new student there. She was Henna, and looking at her, it was like love at first sight. But he had to make it sure that she was to be a Japanese, because he knew that his father will not accept any daughter-in-law who is out of race, who is not a Japanese. So he remembers that night when he met Henna in the Professor Hale's house. And Professor Hale's house rooms were very small, the food was not good, and the wife was very talkative, very voluble. But still, they had been very caring to the new students and all that, and they loved also. So everything was compensated for this. So they loved to stay there. Now, coming back to the present time, Dr. Sadao felt that his wife is standing along with him, and he is so lucky to have her. She has given him two children, and they are living happily with each other. And moreover, he also remembers that how that they completed their study in America carefully and all that, and they did not carelessly got married there in America only, but they made all the thought process that they will complete the study in America, they will finish their course, and they will get back to Japan, they will talk to their parents, and then get married. And this is what really happened. When they came back, they talked to their parents, and the marriage was conducted in the traditional way in the Japan. Now, when he was thinking all this, in the meantime, at this very moment, when he was looking towards the water, he found that there was a kind of an shadow of a human being that was coming towards his house, that was flung up. He was falling, he was standing, he was staggering, he was unsteady movement was there, and he was like his feet was stopped by a heavy wave. For it has been used a breaker. That heavy wave was turning out to be a breaker for him. And when he came out of that mist, that black shadow was completely outlined to be a human being, and Henna cried at this point that who that person could be. But now, because that man really fell down on his hands and all that, and Sadao answered, maybe a fisherman. He may be washed away from his boat and all that, and that's why he would have come this side. Now, Henna also came along with Sadao, who rushed towards the shadow, and when they came very near to that person, they found that this person, they were thinking that how could this person come to this area? Maybe he's washed away and all that by the boat, and all around were fishing villages. And this area where his house was there, it was all bare and lonely coast, and it was all covered with rocks, and that rocks also had spiked rocks, very pointed one. And if this man is coming towards them, thinking that he would have fallen down again and again, might be that he is now badly wounded. They saw that they saw that this person had come towards them, and he was all on the sand. The sand was all around him, and they could also see that there was a stain of red soaking. Now they got to know that he was badly wounded, and he really needed the care. And even he was in all pieces of old clothes, he was in rags of garments. And Sadao and Henna stopped there to see the man's head. They turned his head to see who the person is. When they turned the head, they got to know he's a white man, and they shouted also white man, because the yellow hair, correct, could tell him that he was a white man. So the yellow beard also gave them indication that he was a white man. And they were really upset that how come this white man has come over here, and that fellow who was in the unconscious state did not get to know what these two people were doing with him. Now Sadao, being a doctor, immediately realized the wound, and with his expert fingers he started finding that wound. And when he touched with his when he touched that wound, because with the fresh touch on the wound, the blood started coming out, and Dr. Sadao could see that the flesh had completely blackened because of the gunpowder, because he was shot with a gun. Now they also saw that he was really in a bad state because of the rocks had stuck that wound, and they also got to know that he was not tended upon, he was not taken care, or he was not nursed, and that's why his wound was really bleeding badly. Now Hannah had not seen this such kind of in bleeding, so she was very serious and all that, and she did not feel comfortable also. And they also felt that he's not a fisherman, because the fishermen would have taken the day to an end, and they would have returned back to their villages, as well as the beachcombers, the people who come in search of something, the life by seeing things found on the beach. When they are searching the things that are found on the beach, these people are the collectors. So even they would have also thought the day to an end, and even those people would also have returned. Now the big question in front of these two people, the couple, was that what shall they do with this man? Now Sadao was not listening, because his expert hands were moving on, and he was thinking how he should stop the bleeding of the uh, wound. So he took up the moss. He took up the moss that strewed over the beach, and he put it on that wound so that the bleeding would stop. That man was moaning, that man was groaning in pain. He was unconscious, but he did not awaken. He was not knowing what the things are happening around. Now, here the couple was really in trouble. What to do with this man who is lying in an unconscious state, desperate state. Now, the best thing for these people were that they had to throw him into the water, because if he sheltered the white man in their house, they would be arrested. And because, of course, by keeping or sheltering a prisoner, because the World War was going on, and they would be considered as traitors, so they would be arrested. So best thing they had was that they should throw this man back into the water. But before that, they could see that he was having a cap, and they saw his cap, and on the cap it was written in a faint lettering, a sailor from US Navy, from an American warship, US Navy. So they got to know that he's an American and he's a prisoner of war. Now for prisoner of war, you can use POW as well. That short form, abbreviated form can also be used. Now they got to know that he had escaped, and that's why he was shot at his back. Now, of course, the same problem, that we have to throw him back into the water, back into the water. But the very strange thing was now that both of them did not get up. Neither Sadao got up nor Hannah got up to throw this man into the waters. Now Hannah said, if you can do it all alone, then do it. Sadao said, no, I cannot. And I cannot leave this man suffering, because I am a doctor. And as a doctor, I have been taught to take up all the expertise of mine, a skill to save any wounded man, to save any man who is really in trouble, the man who is suffering and all that. Had this man not be wounded, then I would have definitely threw him into the water. So because he's wounded and he's not completely whole, though he is my enemy, I know, but I need to take care of him first. But he made up his mind that when he is going to be perfectly fine, he would really hand him over to the army. And that was only the best thing that they could do. Correct? So now the only problem they had, now the decision was taken by both of them that they will be taking him to the home. But now next problem would be that what about the servants? The servants who are in their home, when they see an American sheltered out in there, will they not inform the army? Will they not inform the police? Will in that case they will not want to be caught and all that? So this was also now a big question in front of them. But anyhow, both of them decided that whenever we are going to take him, when we are going to take him home, we are going to talk to the servants, and we would really tell them that because he is wounded, we have brought him to treat, and after the treatment and he gets fine, we will hand him over to the police. Correct? So after deciding this, they took him from the back passage, and when they picked him up, he seemed to be very light in weight, because as though like he had not eaten for years, and he was just like a foul bird who was half starved and all that, and he was only feathers and skeleton. So from the back door and from the passage, they had taken him to the room which belonged to Sadao's father. Now Sadao's father was no more surviving, but whatever in the bedroom of Dr. Sadao's father was there, everything was purely Japanese, because I told you earlier that he would not accept a daughter-in-law who is not from Japan. So he was real patriot. So whatever the things, bed sheet or sceneries or cushions or whatever the things, curtains, whatever, so the things were in his room, all belonged to Japan. Now, when this boy, this enemy, American, was laid down in that room, initially Hannah felt it very hesitated that how should she cover this man with a quilt which was having a beautiful lining over it. So, thinking that this man was all dirty, and if she uh, just cover his body because it was cold enough, and if she covers his body with a quilt, her quilt would get dirty. But anyhow, they decided that he needs to be washed first, and for that they need to tell Yumi. Now Yumi is a caretaker of the children, and so here Hannah decided that she will tell Yumi, and so that she can leave the children and then she can take care of him and she will wash. So Sadao also considered for a moment and agreed upon, yes, you need to go and tell that lady. But before that, he tried to feel the pulse of that man. The pulse was uh, very weak, but the man was really surviving. He was in unconscious state and all that, but yes, he was surviving. Now both of them started thinking whether that even if we operate him, will the survival be there for him? Now, what does it mean by that we are operating upon him? We want him to live because, as a doctor, he would like his patient, to live. But the problem is that after this fellow gets perfectly fine, he is completely out of danger. Will these people not hand him over to the police? And when they hand him over to the police, will he not die? So, why Hannah started thinking, why don't we leave him now to die? Because in every case he has to die. If we do not operate, then also he has to die. And if we operate, still he has to die. Why? Because after that we'll be handing him over to the army and the army will not leave him. So this question was also big in front of them what to do. But Dr. Sadao was determined, resolute, adamant that he is really going to operate upon this man. And because he also started thinking that this man had a great, extraordinary vitality, the vigor, the strength. Because after having a gunshot, fallen down into the sea water, even crossing the spiked rocks and all that, he had come out to be surviving. So this man really has a great extraordinary strength in him, and this would make him live. Okay, anyhow, they took upon the decision, and Hannah was there in the room, and in the meantime Sadao had went out, so that might be that he has gone out to talk to the servants and all that. So she was all left alone with that man, and after long years, when she had returned back from her completion of diploma from America, she had never seen this any kind of an American. Now when she was looking at the face of this American, she was thinking, yes, this fellow is my enemy, and he is really a problem for us, menace for us. Whether he is living or whether he is dead, he is going to be a real threatening to us. Anyhow, she went to nursery. She called Yumi, who was taking care of the children. And when the children heard the voice of the mother, they started crying, and she had to take care of her 3 months old child. And the child, when slept, they laid him on the bed. They just put the quilt on him, and Hannah told Yumi to come along with her. And at that time, Yumi was told everything by Hannah, that there is an American in the house. And in the meantime, on the other side, other two servants who were there, even they were also told by Sadao that there is an American in the house. Now, here the gardener was a bit annoyed that why had the why had their master brought this American in the home. And they were speaking very loudly so that Hannah could hear that our master is really very skillful, and he has got all his expertise, perfection in his job, that he can save anybody's life. But this man was a bit superstitious, because he thought initially there was a gunshot, then he fell into the water, and then later on the spiked rocks also wanted to kill him. Now he said because now Dr. Sadao was saving his life, all these things would take revenge upon the doctor. Now Hannah was not that superstitious like these people. But yes, She was frightened of that if anybody gets to know that we have sheltered this American, they are surely going to be caught. So this fear was there in her heart, but she was not as superstitious as this gardener. But anyhow, they had to help this enemy, and in the meantime, Yumi was, as she was told by Henna, she brought hot water, and then she took the hot water towards the white man. And when she went into that room where the white man was laying, she immediately folded her lips and said in stubbornness that I have never washed a white man and I will never do it. At this, Henna shouted at her very badly that you need to take the command of your master, you have to do what I say. But now Henna when saw that there was a fierce look of resistance in the eyes of Yumi, Henna felt unreasonably afraid that I cannot shout upon this lady anymore, because if she goes and tell the army, if she goes and tell the police, if she goes and tell the general, the things would really turn the tables. And this was not exactly what is going to be there, because they had a plan after his treatment they would hand him over to the army, but she may tell the other way around. So she could not shout at her, and anyhow with dignity she told her that okay, fine, you go from here, you keep on doing your own work, let me do it. And now Henna stayed in that room all alone with that fellow with the hot water and the towel in her hand. And she dipped the towel in the water and she started cleaning the wounded, helpless man. And after she started cleaning, she had to untie the knotted rugs, clothes, and all that covered his body. And the body was now completely naked and all. And she started cleaning the body with the towel. And slowly, when she started cleaning, she could see the man's skin, though it was rough with exposure to sun, weather, and all that, it had become a bit of the harsh. But yes, it was a fine texture. It was very blonde. Blonde means yellow brown color, like a small child. So she could see that the young or the youth was still there on the skin of this fellow. Now we are on page 32. So while she was thinking these thoughts about this fellow and all that, though she was not liking this fellow because he was no more a child, she kept on cleaning the upper body, but she did not dare to turn his back because she was all alone and she was feeling afraid also, and it was not easy for her to turn. And her anger was also declining slowly and slowly. Okay, she was getting on fine, and she vibed because she was all in anger. So she rose up from there, she stood up because nobody was there, and she was getting angry for Yumi also not doing the work, and she wiped her hands on a wrong towel. Now ultimately she gave the quilt over this man because she thought he might feel chill. So in that case, when she was just thinking all this to get out of the room, and she found that Sadao was already on the door, and when he opened, he was already in his surgeon emergency bag he was carrying, he was wearing surgeon coat and all that, and she got to know that my husband has decided to operate. So he unfolded a sterilized towel, and all the things which were that he could require for the operation were spread on the towel. Now she was obeying whatever the husband was saying. So she took out all the pieces of matting because it would require, because the blood would ruin the moment the moss will be taken out of the wound that the doctor had put on the wound to staunch the blood, to stop the blood. The moment he would take the moss out of it, the blood would spurt out, and the mat on which he lay would be really spoiled. So she went out to take the linen towels and all that, matting and all that, so that she could spread it on the floor so the blood should not spoil the mat. But before she came into the room so that she could save the mat, in the meantime, Dr. Sadao had taken the moss and the mat was completely spoiled. Now, when Dr. Sadao was in any operation or when he was with the patients, he never listened to what the other persons told him. So Yumi in the meantime told that Yumi had not obeyed her, and she disobeyed, she did not wash this man, and I had to do it. Sadao was busy doing with his all swift concise movements, and he was not hearing what she was saying. And Henna knew that whenever he was in operation, he was doing operation, he was so absorbed with the work that he hardly knew what he was doing. And at this moment also, he was not knowing that the body which he's working upon so excellently, the body belonged to a enemy. He was his enemy. But because he was doctor, he had forgotten everything. He was only remembering one thing, that he was a patient and he had to work upon that. So here Dr. Sadao requests his wife Henna to give him anesthesia. Now she was not knowing how to give anesthesia. She was feeling blank how to do it. But Dr. Sadao said that it was easy enough for her to do it, because he would direct her, guide her how to do it. But in the meantime, he had taken the packing, that moss packing, and the blood came out very fast. And by his surgeon light that he had fastened on his forehead, he could see that the rock that spiked rock which had touched his wound had been very deep, and because of that deep, the bullet had gone inside, and the bleeding that was there, that was not artificial, it was very very deep, and this man had really lost blood. So we have finished with this first part of the story in page 33. In the second part also I would begin from the same page. Till then, goodbye, stay happy.